Thank you. Now, each year, billions of pounds are lost in postal scams, where fake firms demand so-called administration fees in return for the promise of big cash prizes.
Helen Pearson has met one man who discovered his late mother had been conned out of her entire life savings by lottery scammers.
My mum was a very strong-willed lady. Not the type of person that you would think would be duped into anything.
In a house full of dear memories of Russell Eaton's mother, Vicky, is a room full of dark secrets she kept for nearly a decade. It wasn't until she'd passed away he found piles of evidence of persistent postal scammers.
It's big, it's organised crime, and obviously it's the scale of it's just horrendous. But if you read the letters and the way that they're done, it is almost a form of brainwashing.
Even now, 100 more letters a week arrive from as far as Hong Kong and Las Vegas.
So what sets these letters apart from, say, regular junk mail is just how professional they look and also how personal they are. Vicky's name's mentioned throughout this one, and it's signed off with all my friendship.
This kind of grooming nets more than £10 billion a year for fraudsters. Charity Think Jessica was alerted to 22,000 victims in just one day. They'd sent £500,000 to a single scam. Russell says his mother lost at least £100,000 and died deep in debt.
My mum had money in terms of savings, that had all gone. And we're just absolutely devastated and completely shocked by it all.
Helen Pearson, Good Morning Britain.
We're joined now by Marilyn Baldwin, who set up the charity Think Jessica to protect the vulnerable from postal and telephone scams. Marilyn, thanks very much for coming in. That's a story that will resonate with you, of course, because
it is, yes.
You had a similar experience, didn't you? Tell us what happened.
Well, what happened to my mother, she died in 2007. She was a victim, the same as Russell's mother, and she received around 30,000 letters over a 5-year period.
30,000?
Yes. It literally took over her life. As you've seen there with Russell, it's not just about fake clairvoyance. It's lottery officials, it's solicitors, it's bankers, and this type of mail creates a delusional world that becomes the victim's reality. They're actually trapped in this world, and even though we knew that my mother was doing it, we still couldn't get any help for her because she was so convinced that these people who she was corresponding with were genuine.
So even though you sat down with your mum and tried to explain that the letters were rubbish, she was absolutely adamant?
Absolutely. The psychology is so powerful that it traps these older people, and there's thousands of these people.
Just give us an idea. I haven't received one of these letters. I mean, you know, I think we've all received through the post, if you ring this number, you can win a big cash prize. Yes. But when you talk about the kind of psychology of it, give us an example of what's being written in these letters that then draws someone like your mum in.
OK, well, for postal scams, they're working from mailing lists that categorise people as not having the internet access, so they know exactly who they're going for. They're categorised as being elderly, so they've got no way of finding out about scams, they've got no way of getting help or making a report. If they're socially isolated or have family that visit occasionally, or even family that visit but still live alone, then they're prime targets. The psychology starts, you've won a competition, £10 to claim the prize, and it spins from there. A whole host of delusional characters then break into this world, and they start trying to get a bite of the cherry as well. So they literally get, I mean, some victims are getting 100 scam letters a day through the letterbox. We've had... Yeah, sorry?
Once you reply to one of these letters or send some money, do the scammers then share that knowledge with other scammers? Are they all in it together?
Your name then goes on what's called a suckers list. This list then circulated amongst other criminal gangs. This is organised crime. This is not the odd fraudster. You know, this is massive. It's making billions of pounds a year. So this information is shared. The victim is repeatedly targeted. And basically they will stop at nothing until they've taken every last penny. They'll tell them that the FBI are watching the house, that they'll lose a grandchild if they don't pay up.
Goodness me. Well, you and your mum kind of fell out, didn't you? You managed to repair that relationship, but you fell out over this. So if there are people watching whose parents or a family member might be affected and they're also having trouble kind of getting through with the truth, what is your advice for them? Who do they contact?
Well, certainly the trading standards, the National Scams team run by the trading standards are a brilliant help. They can be accessed through the Think Jessica website. Visit our website. We've got booklets that we can send out, these educational booklets, we've got DVDs, and we've got various other tools on the site that they can use to help convince their relatives.
Thanks so much, Marilyn. Thanks for coming in to talk to us this morning.
It's approaching 20 to 7. Here's Kate with the news headlines.
Thanks very much indeed. Good morning. The headlines now from Good Morning Britain. Couples